Ladies and gentlemen, oh man, I already messed up. Isn't this like, I
It
mean,
doesn't matter. I
I'm
do it.
verklempt.
Everybody does it. Everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Listening to the Voices. On this episode, we have a very special guest whose energy, humor, and entrepreneurial spirit lit up late night TV in the 1990s and continues to shine today. From reigning as Miss Louisiana USA in the 1970s to hosting the cult classic B movie showcase Up All Night to founding a lingerie empire based on comfort and confidence, Rhonda Shear has done it all. And now, mark your calendars on October 25th, 2025. Rhonda is premiering a brand new show that promises her signature blend of wit, charm, and unapologetic authenticity. Tonight, I am thrilled to have her with me and talk about everything and all of her wild stories in between. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for joining me. The stage is
Yeah.
yours.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I have to say, you are watching and listening to. Now you see, I messed up. Horror, horror
Horror
wars. Okay,
Wars podcast, yes.
okay. You are watching and listening to horror war. You see what you gave me?
It's
You gave it
okay.
to me.
It's
All
okay.
right, here we go.
Okay.
You're watching and listening to Horror Wars podcast with Rhonda Shear on all night.
Oh man, that is fantastic. Oh my God, that is
I'll do it
lovely.
more. Believe me, I'll be doing it more.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, Thank you for doing this. We talked just a couple minutes before we started recording here, and well, I guess we'll just start off by continuing that conversation if you don't mind.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
we were discussing how podcasts and the video medium and the audio medium have transcended in what the last like 30 years. And me as an 8 to 11-year-old child watching you on television, I never thought in a million years that I would be sitting here interviewing Rhonda Shear. Like
That's
that
so
is
sweet.
absolutely insane. Like I know you
But
had mentioned, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, I think our childhood is such a formative time in our lives
Yeah.
because I grew up with I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, and I interviewed, you name it, on Up All Night. I interviewed so many people through the years because sometimes we did shows in the studio, sometimes we did shows on location. So a lot of premieres and events in Hollywood and New York. But when I met and got to interview Barbara Eden from My Dream of Jeannie, I thought I was going to die because she was just, I mean, I was like, "Ah." I mean, I met all kinds of major stars, but she just, I couldn't talk because when you're a child, that's everything, that TV, you're in their world. So I
Yeah.
get that. And I really get a kick out of meeting young men and young women. A USA Network claimed that the viewership
Oh
was split in
man.
half, although more men, I believe, or young men remember me. But I always say I'm so proud that I got so many young men through puberty. But the
Hey, look.
stories I hear are hysterical. Like I wait for my parents to go to sleep, and then everybody had the little TVs back then. I'd sneak it under the covers with me. I'm like, I don't want to know anymore.
Right, right. Hey, I guess in some fashion it's a badge of honor.
It
Yeah.
is. No, it really is. It really is very cool. And so, I did that for 8 years. I started in 91 to 98.
Yep.
Gilbert Godfrey was on from 89 to 98. And there was a gal named Caroline Schlitt that was on for a year and a half before me. And then for whatever
Yep.
reason, USA Network decided to recast her. I thought she was good, but I wasn't making the decisions.
Right.
So, I mean, I was deep into comedy and stand-up comedy then, and I wanted all things comedy. So, they told me that they wanted someone sexy and over the top, and they had, I don't know how many women, 200, 300 women that auditioned for it, but they all went in when they heard hosts. Back then, newscasters would wear suits, so they went in thinking host, like a straight host.
Yeah.
And I went in like crazy. I went in with a low cut dress and my hair was huge. And it was right. I had not come up with Up All Night yet. That was later when I got the show, but I was blow drying my hair. I plugged it into someone's, outlet, and I was just doing crazy things. And it took about 3 months. I don't know what took so long, but then I got the call that I got it. And I was just thrilled because I was doing stand up. And that whole time that I was building my act, I kept hearing, oh, you're too sexy to do stand up. You're too this to do stand up. And I was so tired of that that I finally just went full force into it instead of trying to be something else in the beginning. I was like trying to be the girl next door or trying to dress down or just grabbing my Diet Coke, whatever. And I went right for it. And that was when I was the most successful. And then in the beginning, it was a very high pitched voice I was doing. And then I kind of settled into myself. The only thing that I kept was the up all night. And so you can see through the years the changes in even my character, but that's also because USA Network used 7 or 8 different producers, I think 7. So I don't know why they kept changing. Everyone I ever worked with was really great. There's certainly favorites that I had through the years. And they moved the show to New York for 3 years, and 4 or 5 of the years I did it in LA. So of course, I lived in LA, so it was easier for me to do those shows. We'd go to New York and bank about 4 shows. It was a
Okay.
wonderful time in my life. I got to work with the fabulous Gilbert Gottfried, which we are dedicating our first show to on Saturday night. And he was wonderful and fun to work with and brilliant. And we just had a great time. But, it was just a great time in television because it was basic cable and I was able to be playful somewhat. USA Network gave us a little bit of a free rein, not completely. But the one thing that they did is they owned their library of films. So we had to, whatever they gave us is what we did. Where Kings of Horror has this huge library that they license. And if I want something special, they'll actually try to go after it. So that even makes it a little bit more special than USA Network.
That's really
In terms
awesome.
of freedom, now I'm getting something else. I'm sorry. I'm moving around. But that's why a podcast is cool. You can just be yourself.
Yeah,
Um,
that's absolutely true. Like I discussed with you previously, I really just like talking, you know what I mean? And
that's where it shouldn't sound like interview questions. It shouldn't. That's why everybody likes the podcast because they're very real and very, you're doing it from your home. And
yep,
I think I'm seeing VHSs back there, which is really cool.
it's my books.
Oh, your books. Okay. Well,
Yes,
that's
yes.
so usually your books. Okay. So it's really funny because I've done quite a few podcasts just in the last years in general. And there's a lot of people with a huge VHS collection, which I just
Yes.
love.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
it wasn't for VHSs, part of my contract was USA Network had to provide me with a VHS of every show that I did, my parts, not the films. And so they
Oh,
did that,
cool.
2 of them. One would go to my mom so she could watch the show in New Orleans, and then the other would go to me. And I'm the only one that has the full library of my shows because they got rid of all the tape stock for the tape. They just
Yeah.
erased it all.
So with you having the library of everything, do you own the rights to everything at that point?
I do.
Holy shit. So everything up all night belongs to you.
Except for the films, and I
Well,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
any.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, but I have all the
Wow.
bits, so it's very cool. And I wish someone would have saved Gilbert's, and I know Gilbert wouldn't have done it anyway
Yeah.
because I'm sure some of the producers kept a few of the shows that they produced. But and I have all the Gilbert shows that I worked, or most of them. I mean, I'm missing about 20 out of like 400 and something shows.
Wow, that's
So
insane.
I know it's really insane. I'm very proud of that too. And we've been uploading them to YouTube and just preserving them and for the last years before this even started because I don't know, I always felt like it was this iconic piece of pop culture. And I just thought it was just cool to keep. And people that find these bits of it, they're like, I love this. So, I mean,
Yep.
I've just started doing the conventions. I didn't really have time to do that because I've been busy with an intimate apparel company, which we'll talk about.
Which we'll talk about. Yep.
But for the last 20 years. So, but I started going to a couple of conventions, and I was at FrankenCon, and that's where I met the Kings of Horror people. And they're like, "Have you ever thought about rebooting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have, but I can only get public domain films or a few of my friends' films, yes, and maybe some young filmmakers, but that's going to be the whole problem
Right.
for is getting really good films."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we have the films," and I'm like, "Well, my husband and I just built a studio." Unrelated to the show, too, we built a full out studio in St. Petersburg called Shear Media Studios
Yep.
for all things, media, podcasting, influencers, photographers, live shows,
That's
TV,
awesome.
film. I know it's like amazing. So my husband rebuilt. It's very similar. it feels the same as our early 90s set, which is really cool.
That's awesome. Now, first, one thing I want to say, how long have you and your husband been married for? Because you guys have been together for quite a while, right?
Well, now, yeah, we've been together, but I'm like old. I'm like a bat hanging off the ceiling still, you know. He was my junior high school sweetheart, and
Yeah.
we reunited. And so now it's almost 25 years. But so we've been together a long time, but we had a nice 20 something year separation too. So I had never married. My husband married. So I don't have any biological children. So I think I'm very immature because of that, you know. I do have four dogs, as you heard.
Yep.
But he's very supportive of me in my past and in my career. And he came from business, being a businessman. He started his own businesses. And I came from marketing and TV and hosting and stand up. And so it was like just a kind of a perfect marriage for both our intimate apparel business, which
Yeah.
is really cool. I mean, because he understood the business side and I was able to do the sales because I love designing my own product and I could, you know, I believe in it. So,
So
and it carries over into the studio too. I mean, we're very like-minded on most things.
so I was gonna ask, that was actually one of the questions. Like, how did it go from like being a host to a CEO? Like in marketing and all of that, and then just going from that to that. That's like a complete paradigm shift, right? Like,
Well, you know, we've won so many entrepreneurial awards like Ernst and Young, and a lot of them through the years for, especially for this bra called the Abra, where
the
we sold
Abra.
35 million units of it. So, and more, continue to sell it along with thousands of other products that we've developed through the years. So we kid about it because we did it out of necessity. So sometimes you have a business plan and sometimes your business plan is a necessary business plan.
Yeah.
We had just gotten married and Up All Night was recently over and I was still doing stand up and I was headlining. So in the early days, stand up really helped us financially because we started off both, you know, I'm doing TV and he has a company. And then through things that changed, you know, after his divorce, well, he was divorced long before we got back together, but, you know, things changed. He got out of his business that he had that was in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I moved out of New Orleans because I figured, well, he had a business. So I actually moved to Lafayette, which that could be a horror movie right there. I'm serious. It was, I wasn't well accepted by the ladies. So you would think that I stole this man away and I had nothing to do with that. It was like small town gossip stuff. But
Really?
yeah, it was pretty crazy. And I was in Playboy long before, and they were like, I
Right.
was like a woman scorned. It was just insane. They would invite my husband to parties and not me. It was just insane. But my goal was because he had the brains to get him out of there and get him back to LA, which I eventually did. And that's where we actually started our company. We heard of an opportunity with Home Shopping Network, and we wanted to work together to make up for lost time for one, and two, we needed to start a new business to make money,
Yeah. Yeah.
because unless you're on a TV show making that steady income, acting is like in between jobs.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We started this never thinking it would grow. I wanted intimate apparel mainly because I spent so much time in lingerie on the show, and I met and worked with a lot of designers out of LA. I made that happen because I guess I was an entrepreneur even before I realized it. We had no clothing budget or costume budget on the show, but I wanted to change outfits four times during the show to kind of keep people engaged. Because back then people
Yeah.
didn't it wasn't all about the films like people love them now. It was like, you know,
Right.
late night, mindless, you know. So I thought cute little outfits. So I started meeting with different designers and stores and created this wonderful world for myself where they would lend me outfits to use on all the shows, just like about six different people. It was stunning. It was amazing that I did that for so many years. And but I think that gave me a love for design, even though I didn't major in it, but I worked with these people and, you know, it was fun. So I thought that I could build a better mousetrap, as my husband likes to say, with bras and panties. And we did. And
Yeah.
it started off though very slow in the beginning because we weren't in the apparel world
Yeah.
or anything like that. I mean, he was a businessman and I came from comedy and acting. So, but eventually, we came up with this bra, and then my husband said, let's make it into an infomercial. We did that because a lot of infomercials were done out of this area. And I thought, an infomercial on a bra, it's got to be something that everybody uses. It's like a tool or a chamois or something. But he was right. It was his idea,
Yeah.
and it exploded.
Yeah.
And that won us all these awards. And Ernst, like I said, Ernst and Young, and just, top fastest growing female owned business, and just, it was insane. So your original question was, how did that feel? Well, I think it was it was an accidentally, not my husband, because he did come from the business world, but for me to be considered an entrepreneur in the very beginning, I was like, this is insane. Going from up all night in the blonde image to this. But there's no doubt, in doing these interviews that I've been doing, even for this, I have realized that I was very entrepreneurial all during my LA years. Like, even in my early years of stand up, it was really hard to get women. It was hard for women to get stage time. So I would go to different clubs and say, hey, would you put us on, like, on Monday night when you don't have a big audience?
Right.
And they would. So I started getting all these girls different, airtime, and I mean stage time. And so that's being entrepreneurial. Nobody else was doing that. So I guess I always had a business sense.
And in that, you've built an empire around comfort and inclusivity. So was that a conscious feminist statement, or was it just like common sense
Yeah,
more than anything
definitely.
else?
Well, a little bit of both, but definitely I wanted to be inclusive for all shapes and sizes and all women. And a lot of our products cater to women who've had breast cancer or different surgeries. And it didn't start off, and it's not a medical product, but so many women do use it after different surgeries. So yeah, helping women for the last 20 something years has been amazing to me, with body image and everything. And then, of course, having my up all night fans, which is, predominantly the males that I hear from. So when I go to these conventions, I hear from the guys, oh, like, I grew up with you, blah, blah, blah. And the women are like, what size bras do you think I wear? So it's really fun. I think for the first time, I'll be able to kind of combine both parts of my brand.
Yeah, that's going to be really awesome. Are you planning on doing like commercials and stuff for it in Up All Night?
Yeah, because we have to monetize it at some point. I
Yeah.
imagine it'll
Yeah.
be slow. So, we want to pay for at least the production, and it would be nice to make some money too. But so that is definitely through subscribing and Patreon, but also I have my own, obviously my intimate apparel company that will advertise, and then products like, pictures and t-shirts and, all the merchandise, vinyl. I already have a DVD that we're selling. Uh, uh, Fright,
Fright rags.
fright rags. Yeah.
You got the new shirt with fright rags. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. I don't know if it's out yet, but they were
I
supposed.
I think it's coming out like the day that your
I
show
think they
drops.
do that. I was like, wow, it's
Yeah.
Halloween. I wish you would have done that before, but I guess that's just how they drop things.
Yeah.
So they're very cool, and we'll work with them for other products too. They got this pretty quickly. I mean, this happened pretty quickly with them. So
Yeah.
yes, well, so slowly but surely, we understand product because that's what we do for a living. So we will create some very cool product that's never been seen, because my husband and I can source anything, because that's what we do for a living. We
Yeah.
source product. We work with factories all over the world. So I think that's cool. And I've already got some ideas for things that you don't see out there on a regular basis. Plus, I'll go to the conventions, some of them. I'm not going to do them every week. There's really, between being on Home Shopping Network and other networks for my brand, for my intimate apparel brand, and now producing Up All Night, Up All Night again. It's going to be hard because, October 25th is our first.
Yeah.
And then we have a Thanksgiving special, which is November 22nd. And then we have a Christmas special, which is December the 20th. And then starting January the 4th, we go every other week. So that's
Oh,
almost the same amount as what I was doing, just half the amount I was doing for USA Network. So that's a lot of production.
that is a lot of production. I will say I'm sad it's not a New Year's Eve episode, but January 4th is fine.
Well, we also don't want to compete. We want to
Right.
compete with Joe Bob Briggs. I don't know if he's on New Year's Eve, but we're hoping that his fans will be complimentary, because definitely I was on Joe Bob, his show
Y-
recently, and we
Yeah.
did each other's shows back in the day,
I
and
was gonna say, yeah, you
yeah, we
guys
go
are
way
like the
back.
glue. Yeah,
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 we go
you're
way back. I mean, I'm
yeah,
so proud of him I mean, I think he was only off for like 8 years in all these years, but
yeah.
but he writes his shows and he really leans into the films.
Yes, he
And
does.
so, for the last 20 years, I have not been watching many horror films. I've been busy building bras and panties, which is
Yeah.
can be horrific too.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
so now it's like waking up that part of my brain again, and also um, having what I'm going to do, because I want to be very authentic, is have like a lot of guests on. Like I have um, Lenora, Midnight Rentals will be our regular on the show. And then I
Okay.
will have, excuse me, not Joe Bob, John Brennan. I will have Joe Bob on if he'll come on for sure. I'm dying to have him on it. And Darcy, that would be great.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
definitely do that down the line.
That's awesome.
Because we're definitely going to fly people in. Like this first show, we have, they come in through a magic circle, but magic heart. But I have Felicia Rose and Linnea Quigley is my special guest. But we'll have all these people in studio. But John Brennan is going to be a regular on my show,
That's
and
so cool.
so is Yuki. And I'm like, they are so amazing. I mean, I worked with them on TLDI, but they are so great to work with. I mean, so much fun, so creative. And so he's going to be writing original music for us, and it'll be John Brennan and the Up All Nighters. We're going to have our own little house band and just be crazy. And he's going to be my neighbor. I'm going to definitely build in more characters that are regulars, because we're going to be more studio driven than out on location, at least in the beginning. So a lot of characters, a lot of sketches, and of course leaning into the film too. But I will be learning along with fans. If I don't know it, we'll have directors on and producers on and actors from the film. And I think that makes it really, to
That
hear it
is
from the
cool.
horse's mouth is really cool.
Yeah. So you're basically, from the sounds of it, you're modernizing up all night. Like that
Oh yeah.
you're literally just taking a tried and true formula, turning it on its head and presenting it for 2025.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, oh, I'm surrounding myself with young people. I'm putting
Yeah.
them in the lingerie.
Right.
I'm not a fool. I want to introduce. I want to introduce a whole young audience that's never seen that what we did in the '90s to
Right.
some beautiful gals that are talented as well. And we'll have wrestlers on, and we'll have. I'm going to lean heavily into young actors and producers and directors, and showcase films from those people too. A premiere films from young filmmakers, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a new version, but leaning into some of the old, the nostalgia, but with a lot of new. And that's the cool part, is that I have more control than I did on USA Network.
That is so awesome. Like, I am really looking forward to this. And I don't know if you know, but I'm planning on releasing this tomorrow night at 11 p.m.
Thank
because I
you.
wanted to make sure that it was going to be coming out like on your original slot. And
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. That's awesome. Thank
thank
you.
you. No, thank you. Like, I mean, so I know we don't have much time left, but I do want to ask you, like, how does it feel knowing that, back to, I guess, to the beginning real quick, you did inspire a lot of men, women, and everything from the 90s, well, late 80s, early 90s. You were a cultural icon in that time period. Like, you were as big as, in my opinion, I don't know if this is what it was, but like, you were close to like Simpsons level to me when,
Oh, so
uh,
sweet.
like it was, I remember watching you so much and everything, and it was
Thank
just
you.
like, no, thank you for providing with so much entertainment and everything.
It
And
was a wonderful time. And I feel like you're not going to believe this, but I feel like I'm realizing that more now,
yeah,
because I've been away from I've kept my toe in the industry, and I've actually been acting a lot lately, but I've been so focused on building a business that I haven't been going to the conventions to hear all this. Now the
yeah.
conventions are huge, and watching as a family, as everybody chatting is huge. And I love all that. We'll be chatting live, on Saturday night. But he's starting to hear this. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine named Miles Groves, he was always on our show in New York. And it's when I had Marty Bike, who produced Gilbert, and myself. And back then. And he goes, I'm partners with JB Smoove. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. He goes, he wants to come on your show. He's a major fan. I'm like, and he wants to come into the studio. He doesn't want to do it like Zoom. I'm like, that's cool. And then I started reading this article. I haven't tried to get him on as a guest yet, but Bill Hader started his
Hey,
career because of me. not
Yeah.
Gilbert, which is amazing. And I was like, wow, I would love to have him on, even just for a minute to interview. That would be such an honor for me.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably more people out there that are stars and directors and writers. I know a lot of filmmakers have told me that I've met. They're like, oh yeah, I totally got into this because of you, or you and Gilbert, or both of you all. So it's like, how cool is, I mean, what an honor that someone has a career because that was
Right.
their dream at that age. So I
Right.
don't take that lightly. And I don't take it lightly in delivering content for the show too. So, I have a new crew. We're doing it at a new studio. So it'll take a couple of minutes to get a
Yeah.
couple of the bumps
Yeah.
out, but it's gonna be amazing. I mean, we're having a meeting tomorrow, and on our first shoot, and things that will change, things that will keep, things that will change. Um, and there's a lot of exciting things that we've already all thought of, like that we want to do. So it's great to have a crew and be in control as producer too, to be able
Yeah.
to really create our own world.
Yeah. That is awesome. And one last thing before you go. You alluded to some Gilbert tribute for the first episode. Is there anything that you're capable of discussing, or you
It's
want to keep
nothing.
that?
It's not. It's really just that I didn't want to bring the show down to be,
Yeah,
to be so sad. So I'm keeping two pictures of Gilbert in my bedroom on the set. So he'll
that's
always be
cool.
looking over my shoulder. And so I take a picture and I'm like, tonight's show is dedicated to my dear friend Gilbert Gottfried, who was amazing in this world. And then my team cut together some clips and also an interview that I did with him over COVID. Like I guess it was really a podcast, but I didn't call it that. It was just, it runs tonight. It's called Rhonda Shear Social Hour, but actually my videographer puts together like old clips and runs that. But we interviewed like 150 people because nobody was doing anything and everybody said
Right.
yes. That's why I really think we'll be able to get people on the show. They're like, yeah, I'll do it. But anyway, I got to interview my dear pal Gilbert, and I'm really happy that he found love, and got
Yeah.
married to lovely Dara and had two beautiful, talented children. And I'm glad that he had that in his life. Before he passed, he died way too young. But so it's a kind of just a little compilation of things that I did with him, more than, I'd make a quick couple of lines about it because I
That's
really
awesome.
felt like I needed to dedicate that show to him because we really did kind of create something really special together.
Yeah, you guys did. You have no idea how much this, I mean, you do. You're starting to find out. You're starting to find out how much you meant to a lot of people. And I hope you
Wow.
continue
Thank you.
getting the flowers and the love that you deserve because and I hope people continue to be respectful to you too, because, in this day and age, people can be some straight dickheads.
And I was prepared for that. Like I am
Yeah.
sure, and I don't really care because you hit a certain age, you're like, I don't care. I mean, yeah, you care, but you don't care. It's like I
Yeah.
was waiting for a lot of comments like, "Oh my God, how old is she?" Which I've seen a couple like that, but nothing really mean. How can she do this and blah blah blah. But I haven't heard that for the most part. I haven't, and I'm also not foolish enough to lean into like I'm the young girl. I mean, I may be immature, but
Right.
I will do fun things, but I will celebrate young people because that's what I do anyway. I mean, even in
Yeah.
my intimate apparel line, I have gorgeous models on, and I've always like celebrated. I've never, even as an actress, I always liked helping actors, and as a comic, I liked helping comics. Why not? I mean, cream is going to rise to the top anyway. Why not hang with some of the most talented people? So it's feeding my soul to work with these people, like to work with John Brennan. He's a hoot. It's just an absolute hoot. And it's letting me be silly characters and make stupid faces and just let my inner child come out. So I'm hoping everybody comes along for that ride. And I hope that we give them enough film because I do think that this generation of people that enjoy horror films are a little bit more into the films than they were back in the day. They're
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
into the films. And I
Yeah.
can't provide what Joe Bob does, but I will via, like I said, filmmakers. And I'll learn. I mean, I'm going to learn by watching the films and
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
myself and researching. But, you know, I also like some of the comedies that we did, like my friend who did Revenge of the Party Nerds. So they are going to pick up some of those teen comedies as
Awesome.
well. Yeah,
Good.
we got to have some TNA out there for the
Good.
boys. I don't
Yes.
care if it's politically incorrect. As they say, my body, my choice. Well, I choose to let my young ladies show their boobs.
And that's the entrepreneurial spirit right there. Well,
Listen,
Rhonda,
all
oh,
the young gals we had, that came on the other day. They're like, "Oh, this is so much fun. I like wearing these little sexy outfits." Because they don't even get to wear anything fun anymore. Everything is just so pinned up now.
yeah,
So
it
I hope
is.
to be able to bring that freedom and let everybody see what fun we had. It was harmless fun
Yeah,
and escapism, and everybody could just relax on a Friday night and have a blast.
that's what
That's
it's
all
all
I want
about.
to do.
Yeah,
Except on
that's what it's
Saturdays.
about.
Saturdays is time. That's the
Yeah,
only difference.
yep. This time it's Saturdays at 11 o'clock. Right? No, 10 o'clock, right?
10
Saturdays at 10
Eastern.
o'clock
10
on the
Eastern.
Kings of Horror. See, look, we began the interview with messed up stuff and we're ending
It's
the
okay.
interview with messed up
Just
stuff.
shows that we're perfectly imperfect.
That's all we can
And
be, right?
everybody is. Everybody does that. And that's what makes us special.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, I thank you so very much for doing this again.
You.
And thank you.
Thank you. Please, I want to come back on. So have me back on so we can promote more as we get into it. And I would love to hear your opinion of it as we're like, a few shows in and your thoughts. So have me back
S-
on.
Seriously, I absolutely will. This is awesome, and I look forward to following more of your journey. And again, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.